Hello, and welcome back to A Safe Space with Grace. Welcome to the podcast, and I'm so glad you're here. First of all, I'm so sorry there wasn't an episode last week. I had such a busy week, and it just came to the end of the week, and I was like, right, well, I could film it on the Saturday evening, but I don't want it to be rushed. I never want A Safe Space with Grace to be rushed. Yes, we are actually in bed. We are getting into bed. And yes, it's 5:30 on a Wednesday. But you know what? Some days are just like that, and it has been one of them days. I feel like I've been and done a million things because I went to uni this morning and then I had some filming to do, then editing, and then been to the dentist, and it was just like one thing after the other. But we are sat down now. We are, after this, after I've filmed this, I think I'm gonna go and watch some YouTube. I'm really in my YouTube phase at the minute. I'm loving watching YouTube. I'm trying to think of things that's happened over the past week. What has actually happened? I feel like the weekend was really nice. Saturday, I went to a presentation because basically last summer I did an abseil down a building. Very random thing to say, but yeah, I did an abseil down a building to raise money for a charity, Sheffield Royal Society for the Blind, and yeah, we raised money for them, and it was like the presentation of sort of everything that they've raised this year. So that was really nice to sort of see where the money that we'd raised was going. Went out for lunch. And I've really just been having really chilled evenings. Like Saturday night was getting into bed early. I'm just really spending a lot of time on my own and just put me in my bedroom with a snack, some chocolate, a cup of tea, and my editing stuff. I could stay there forever. Sunday was again really nice. We went to a cafe and had a cinnamon bun, which was it was one of the fear foods of this week. But it's the more foods that I'm challenging, I just don't feel that scared of them anymore. Like, it honestly just feels more like trying new foods rather than actually like challenging a fear. It just feels like absolutely fine, which I'm so glad about. And then this week has just been go, 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 really like working most days, planning content. Like, it's just been a really quite a busy week. And then towards the end of the week, I'm actually doing my first like public speaking kind of vibe, and I'm so scared. I'm actually quite scared. I've never done this before, and I'm holding a workshop in my old college, which is such a full circle moment. So I'm doing that Friday, and I'm so scared. And then again, just the weekend. At the weekend, oh no, Saturday, my mum is going wedding dress shopping, so that is going to be so good. And then we're going out for tea, which will be really nice. So I'm really excited for the weekend. And this week, we are going to be talking about creativity and how social media can just zap away creativity. And it's weird because sometimes I will get like inspiration and feel so creative from scrolling on social media. Like yesterday, I had a mini doom scroll, kind of not a doom scroll, one of them situations in the afternoon. And I felt really inspired after. I was like, oh yeah, I want to do this, and I want to create this. Like, I had lots of ideas after, so that was like a good doom scroll. And just like getting inspiration, it's really good. But sometimes I end up doom scrolling and I literally feel like my brain's rotting, and I feel like I can't put a sentence together. I just feel like sometimes the doom scroll and social media zaps away our creativity. I feel like over the past few weeks I had lost my creativity, I'd lost my spark. I tried to think what has triggered me to be feeling like I can't put a video together, because there's some times when like I have the ideas in my brain, but I can't get it out of my brain like into physical form, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like I have the ideas whirring in my brain, but I just can't get them out. And I don't know whether that's because my brain's just too overwhelmed, too overstimulated by scrolling constantly, that it won't do a task. I have been scrolling a lot recently, and I mean, this week I've really tried to make a conscious effort to not scroll as much. I mean, I put that app blocker right on my phone, put a block on certain social medias so that I couldn't scroll. You know what I've done? I found YouTube Shorts, haven't I? And I started, as soon as it blocks the other app, I go onto YouTube Shorts and I keep scrolling. What is the point? What is the actual point? And it's so weird because that just proves how addicted my brain is to scrolling. And I hate that. I actually hate it because it's so bad for my brain. Just having so many short form content things, just, I don't know. And I'm not giving my brain to actually breathe and actually think and actually create. Like, if I give myself, like, for example, I went on a walk last week in the Peak District and I was listening to a podcast, like, maybe for the first 10-15 minutes of being there, and I felt overwhelmed. How do you feel overwhelmed in the Peak District? Like, there's literally trees all around you. There's a deer on the field next to you. How were you overwhelmed there? I thought, the one thing that I've brought from normal life, what I do at home of listening to content, that's the only thing that I've brought out here. So maybe let's try and stop consuming content and just be in the moment. And so I took my headphones off, put them in my bag, and just walked. I just walked with no distractions, no content, no nothing. Just taking in my surroundings. I have never felt better. I felt so great in that moment because I was just like, there was nothing else there. I was just being in the moment, and that gave my brain time to breathe. And I went back from that walk feeling so inspired and so creative. Our brains we're not created and built to consume content all the time. They just weren't. Like, social media is such a new thing in the grand scheme of things that our brains are just like still trying to adapt to what is this. And it's scary how addicted we are getting to it. Like, seeing hundreds of things every day. Like, let's think back to the caveman times. They would not have been seeing hundreds of faces, hundreds of things, hundreds of news articles every single day. They just saw what was in front of them, dealt with what was in front of them, and that was it. And they had a very simple fight or flight system. We have our fight or flight system. It's like my nervous system thinks that I'm being chased by a tiger, but it's actually just having to speak in front of my class at school. Like, the brain's just not caught up to where we are now. And I think, like, social media, yes, we're seeing hundreds of people and we're seeing things and we're seeing situations that we never would have seen if we hadn't had social media. I've got fluff on my nose and it's really itching me. We never would have seen that. And there's benefits to social media, of course, because I mean, so many people have internet best friends and internet friends who they wouldn't see. Like, a lot of the people on my social media I'm really good friends with, but I wouldn't even know who they were if I didn't have social media. I always wonder, what is it actually doing to our brain health? How is it going to shift for us? Like, 50 years ago, we didn't have social media, and so we don't know the impact it's having. What is that impact going to have for us in 50 years' time? How is our brain going to adapt? Is it going to affect how our brains work? Like, is it going to shift? Because you do wonder, it correlates. Does it work alongside the mental health epidemic? I don't know. I think everybody has times where they doom scroll. That's normal. Everybody does. But I really want to start making the conscious effort just to stop and switch off and just connect with the world again the way that we're meant to. Like, I really just want to disconnect from my phone at an earlier time at night at least. That'd be the starting point, to stop scrolling and start reading more. Like, I do read, but it's only in the evenings. I just really want to do things that are good for my mental health and do things that are good for my brain and just get that spark back of creativity and give my brain space to breathe. I think it's just so important. My mum is making a yummy tea. I'm going to have sausage and mash, and I'm going to go and have a really chilled evening. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's podcast. My camera is losing battery very quickly, so I'm kind of scared I need to end this episode before the battery goes. But I hope you've enjoyed this podcast episode. Please remember to follow. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. And if you've got Sunday Scaries, do not worry. Tomorrow is just another day, and I am so proud of you, always. And I'll see you next Sunday for another episode. Bye!